presentation?
Please.
Yes. Thank you so much. Good evening. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity, Honorable Mayor, council members, and others in the audience. We are excited to bring a new technology to Jasper, Texas. Our slogan is to make rural America healthy by providing subspecialty care right here in town. You already have primary care physicians, but you don't have subspecialists. So we have a 50-man subspecialty group which would provide care of every possible subspecialty right here in town. The clinic is staffed by trained technicians and a host of electronic gadgetry which allows a very comprehensive and thorough examination. Actually, it's even better than what a doctor can do because of the gadgets, like looking in the ear, it's magnified 10 times and it can snap a picture instantaneously, so the doctor can take a look at it at leisure or spend 5 minutes looking at it, unlike putting the scope in the ear and before the kid moves, you have to capture what you could see. I have a 1-minute video which I guess we'll just kind of play so we can show it this way and that way.
It does. That's fine.
So the gadgets would allow the doctor to listen to the lungs, listen to the heart, do an EKG, do an ultrasound, take pictures, magnify any skin lesions, look in the eye. So there's just a device for looking at each one of these, and those are instantaneously transmitted in live time to the doctor who's remotely placed looking at the computer. And the beauty of it is the patient would also be able to see what the doctor is seeing on the screen. So when we ran a pilot clinic, the patients were just totally blown away by the fact that they could hear their own heart, their own lungs, they could see their own eardrum, which they've never seen before. They could see how it was before treatment and after treatment. We can snap pictures and hand them over the pictures. So this is great for the patients. It's definitely very convenient for the physicians, and it would allow connectivity no matter where the physician or where the patient is, as long as the technician, the gadgets are in place. But I'll be happy to answer any questions, and we could individually show, just probably show a picture of the eardrum too. Yeah, you just hold it there and just show it around. But I'll be happy to entertain any questions, and I would love to invite, the mayor has very kindly agreed to be at the opening ceremony tentatively in about 2 weeks. We just need to do some practice runs. We just got our equipment fired up today. So we just got to get our technicians up to speed and make sure that the connections work smoothly before we start. We'll start with psychiatry first because it doesn't require a lot of gadgets to start with. And we've got a big group of psychiatric specialists who would be available to see patients right here in town. But we'll be happy to entertain any questions and any suggestions.
You all have your.
Where's your office located?
Was
203 Main Street. So it's just on the other side of the park.
In East Texas Support Services?
Yes, yes, in that building.
And we'd love to have all the city council members and everybody else here. Welcome to the opening once we set the date and all that. And we plan to have a few other services once we get settled. One of our investors is very interested in at least running half a day of charity clinic once a month. So once we get settled, we'll look forward to having him come and open his part of the charity work.
This will be
information, it wouldn't be like a robot.
Oh, it would accept insurance, it would be like any other doctor's office, basically, yeah, it would be, it would accept all insurances, and,
And you said there will be some charity care. What about people without insurance?
well, I guess we'll have to, there, one of the investors in the company, is sponsoring, has offered to sponsor half a day of charity clinic once a month.
So you'll get that.
So, yeah, we'll have to,
So you'll
because
put it out, put it.
we are the providers of the clinic, which is the facility, the equipment, the technicians. Doctors are all independent, they would be providing services, so we don't own the doctors, they're not our employees, so it would be up to them for the charity part.
Okay.
My pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sweet, dude.
So, I'll come over and get you one of the days, maybe I'll treat it.
Where is this coming in, Karen?
You can do it now.
Okay. We have a proclamation. This is National Apprenticeship Week. This is whereas National Apprenticeship Week is celebrating its 6th anniversary of raising awareness of the vital role apprenticeships provide in creating qualified and highly skilled workforce in diverse industries in the city of Jasper and across the nation. Whereas the advancement and well-being of the United States of America depends on continued development of skilled workers in their chosen field, and whereas there are more job openings and job seekers in the United States, and the expansion of apprenticeships will help bridge the skills gap to fill these jobs, and whereas the city of Jasper recognizes that robust apprenticeship programs provide tangible value to both job creators and apprentices, with the potential to increase productivity, improve the diversity and inclusion, and reduce recruitment and training costs, while providing a pathway to prosperous careers for job seekers. Now therefore, I, Randy Sayers, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of Jasper, do hereby proclaim and recognize November 8th, 2021 through November 14th, 2021 as National Apprenticeship Week. Okay, here we go. First item on the agenda. Consider approval of one set of minutes from the regular meeting of October 12th. Did you have a chance to read through that?
I did. I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Passed unanimously. Number 2, consider resolution 2990, authorizing the city to become a member of the Southeast Texas Regional Planning Commission and adopting the agreement and bylaws. That's number 2.
They just revised them and brought them up current, correct?
Well, this is what it takes for us to be joined the Southeast Texas Regional Planning Commission. Since we left,
I thought after we left.
So we're not in that car.
no, we're not in DETCOG anymore. This will allow us to be joined as a city.
So we didn't join with the county, did I got you?
No, we have to each individual.
Do you have any recommendation? Have you read over all of it?
Sure, I recommend that we approve it.
Yeah.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
In a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Passed unanimously.
Mayor, I have a question. Since we're moving from DETCOG to Southeast Texas Regional Planning Commission, how's that gonna affect me? Because I'm no longer with them, correct?
You're no longer with DETCOG
Correct.
anymore. They have not, I guess the next step, they'll let me know what our next step is after we send them the information that we have adopted and approved the resolution.
Okay.
And then I'll bring it to you as council.
All right, thanks.
Number 3, consider approving The following. Excuse me. Consider approving the following City of Jasper annual calendars. We have a calendar for the holidays and a calendar for the city council meeting.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the holiday closures calendar and the monthly regular meetings calendar for the city council.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass unanimously. Consider approval of the annual Christmas hams for the city employees.
I'd like to motion to approve. Second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Pass unanimously. Number 5, consider taking bids regarding the estimate received from Barricades Unlimited for the citywide sign replacement project. Who wants that one?
I'll
This price was gathered, because this is, y'all said y'all want new everything price up front. We went with this. So this, what this price is, new everything, from basic stuff. So if we don't wanna go a different direction or whatever, we just need to know how y'all wanna do it, what y'all wanna do.
Was this just a company that you had come in just to do an estimate on what it would be?
They're the
This is
one,
not from-
this company, they're out of Beaumont, we buy a lot of our signs and stuff from them, but they also install all the state signs on the state highways right now.
But it will go out
This
for
is
bid,
for
though, correct?
installation as
This
well
is
as.
turnkey.
That's new underground concrete all the way to the top of the street side.
New bases, everything, correct?
That is correct. This brings us up to the standard for the manual uniform traffic control devices. There's been a lot of changes through the years. The signs are bigger, the poles are bigger. They want a breakaway now for safety of the vehicles in case there's an accident with them. So they went from 6-inch name signs to 9, and that's all part of just coming into compliance with the regulations that we have for traffic control devices.
Could we see a breakdown of the estimate that you have? Because you just have the numbers here. I'd like to see a breakdown of the estimates that you
Well,
have.
when you go out for bids, they came in, spent 2 days, and gathered up what it would take to do the job. Of course, now, once it gets bid out, we'll make sure that it is an itemized bid.
So
It'll
the
have,
estimate is not itemized, they just gave you a price on
well,
it?
they got on there 840 something poles, and then the mobilization
Mhm.
cost, and it tells you down through there. That includes the signs, the bases, in other words, that's actually a bid, but that's, it being the amount that it is, would have to go, be advertised to get different bids.
So if I understand correctly from what you just said, we bid the project as presented, it would be as a pole, as signs, and as installation, basically.
Yeah, it's everything.
So you're gonna have different numbers that he could look at, so he'd know what signage cost, labor cost, and material
If you
proposed
wanted to
cost.
itemize it.
I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would be going out into the bid process.
Okay.
That's how you would list it, say, hey, we want a bid, and it needs to be itemized.
Right, I mean,
What he
that's-
did was a turnkey.
Yeah.
But this is what we're asking for, just to approve the bid process.
Sure,
Y'all
it's
want
just
to go
that,
out for bids.
right,
To
if you want
start
to
the
go,
bidding process.
if you want the project as they have estimated it to go from turnkey,
Mhm.
then you need to authorize us to put this in a bid form,
Put
Which
the
will-
newspaper, run it 2 weeks, get it out to all the different
Gotcha.
suppliers. get
bring
the
it back
prices
to
for-
you and say,
Correct.
this is what has been
Here's the
submitted.
3 prices, 5 prices.
Gotcha.
I'll make a motion for RFQ on signage as presented. I'd like to see it broken down in materials and labor without poles or with. Those items would be inclusive of the labor to mount the signs on them, whether the poles were new or we got to use the other ones. I know there was some change on sign size and stuff, and I'm sure they'll follow whatever they're supposed to. But I would like to see if we could pursue maybe some additional bidders on this whenever we get it out. If y'all know anybody that might could help us out with that.
There's numerous companies that do it.
I have a question on that, Greg. As far as what Randy is saying, is was gonna send it out for bids. But since we have this, and we know what we need, the city, are you gonna say the city would not be able to do this?
Not
These
with the-
projects?
Not with the current stuff that we've got.
I'd like my motion to include outside labor for an install. That was one of the items that I said I'd like to see the number on.
We could do it, it's just gonna take time. It's something we can't put our people on a regular basis, because we got other work on a regular basis.
Well, in that essence, the motion he just made is to go out for bid. Got a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Nah,
It's unanimous.
I didn't say I.
Oh, you do?
No, I'm abstaining from this.
you gonna
Okay.
abstain?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Number 6, consider the request received from Charter Communications for a pole attachment agreement for broadband communications.
I made a loop through the other day after we saw this stuff, and I got a chance to read most of the material that's in here. I think there's some other material that I didn't get a chance to look at that's gonna be part of it. We've got some poles that are like this, that have got loads on them already. We've got some poles that have growth on them from vines and brush. And I know we've got some new ones from a few years back. We've got some old ones. Do we have the ability to go out and sort of get an idea of what our condition of our poles are? If they can take any more weight, load? I mean, there's some of them that's pretty tired in our system.
There's a consulting company that also deals with Charter Communications that would come in and assess our poles in the avenue which they need to take. All they're asking for is, they're asking to attach to our poles for a hub only, not to, engage in any of the residents inside of the city.
So basically dark fiber to come through our area, and they're gonna light it or spread it in other areas.
Right, they were not given the census block for the city. This is part of the Jasper County.
I knew it was
So what
the
they're
county.
doing, it would be on the southeast hub over there by Bevel Loop. What they will do, they will come in and look at the route that they need to attach to poles. They will come back and give us the recommendations of what poles that need to be replaced, that cannot maintain the load, or which ones will go underground. That will be at their cost. Now, correct me, they will pay for everything. If there is a pole that needs to be replaced, they will pay for it.
Denise, this cost that you have on here for $16.50 per pole for AT&T.
Right.
How long has that been in
That's
effect?
been in, probably about at least 15 years.
I
Now-
So have you assessed, maybe, reassessing its cost?
Well, what they've recommended is, what I put in there, $7 or $8 a pole. What I am asking you to do is, our pole attachment agreements are close to 20 years old. Really, they're not even in compliance right
Right.
now. I need for y'all to let me contact an attorney that deals with that and let them draft another agreement and then let them negotiate the pole.
I agree with that.
I'd like to make a motion that we check into the polls, even if it's some of our guys that look at it, or some of their people that look at it. I didn't understand on the mapping, the blue, red, greens, yellows, I don't know what the priority is that for them, or if that just happened to be the colors on the map, if I didn't see a scale on it. But I'd prefer that we get a little bit of information back. I don't wanna table it, but I think also that pole cost, you're allowable up to $20 per attachment now, instead of $16.50, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken. And I don't mind addressing it, and I think we should move forward with it. I don't mind you visiting with somebody about Denise, and I'll make that in the form of a motion. But I would request us 120 to 180 days to sort of get our stuff together before we make an agreement with them.
Yeah, I think I agree with Denise doing that before we went forward with anything, as far as her talking to an attorney.
It will take a while. They're talking
Yeah.
about, a year to 18 months out, but,
Mhm.
I explained to them that would be the route that y'all approved that we would do. It would not be something.
I would be willing to address this maybe in June or so, 22.
So you
That'd be a-
need a motion
I'll make.
So what do we need a motion,
Okay.
what do we need a motion to do? Cause like I said, I'm agree with David, I don't wanna table it, but we need to make a motion.
I'll make a motion that you can check into, an attorney can help us with this. Find out what it's gonna take to check on some of these poles, be it from right of way cleanup or poles that maybe need to be replaced. The expense per pole on attachment, cause I think that's allowable at 20 now. And, if we need to update some of that verbiage, that's fine with me.
What's that, Lee?
I can't remember the name of the company right offhand now, but they will come in and they will assess everything that needs to take care of. They represent us in this.
But they're
And
being
then- but
paid for.
The charter will pay for them to come in and make.
But I
the
mean, you know
assessment
how
on it.
many poles got put up after Rita, and you know some areas that probably didn't get serviced about that time. And if that's what you need to do, that's what I'm asking, that you get that taken care of.
Yeah, well, I agree with what Lee said, we have this company that can come in and do that for us,
Well,
correct?
that's gonna be the part, they're gonna come through and go the route that they are wanting to attach, not all
I
citywide.
Okay,
understand.
yeah, I understand
I
that.
understand what you said.
Okay. So you're saying that you're gonna put in a motion that you're gonna give me the authority?
I made a motion for you to take
Okay.
care of this with an attorney, and for Lee to take care of it with whoever he did speak to about checking these poles. And I would like to put this off till June meeting to give y'all time to do that.
Uh,
And the pole agreement, when it's drafted, I'd like to see what current charges are per pole.
I'll second, I agree.
All in favor?
That's
Say
the question,
aye.
we need that long, you think we need that long, David? Till June?
Yes.
We have a motion, you still with your second?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Yeah.
Say aye.
Anderson,
Aye.
you second?
Okay.
Or-
DeMarcus did.
Number 7, consider the approval of bid received from Bill Dover for fuel and oil for the period December 1st and November 30th of 2022.
I'll make a motion, we approve it as presented.
Is that the only one we have? I'd like to ask a question, is that the only bid that we have for that?
Yes. We
Says
usually
it's
only
the
have
only
two,
bid turned in
Yeah.
right there
and they
below.
have not submitted a
I'm
bid the
just
last 2
asking.
years.
Okay.
I second the motion.
We've got a motion and a second. Any more discussion? No? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It passed unanimously. All right. Number 8, consider approval for the type and manufacture of LED lighting for the lighting project and approve going out for bids. You wanna take this, David? We have,
I invited some people to come up to sort of give us a breakdown on their stuff. I had talked to Steve, he did some, I don't know if y'all seen the lighting in front of my office, but he did the recommendation on that lighting for the back lighting and the front columns in my office. I asked him if he'd come down here and sort of give us a little input on this, and told him what we were working on. Told him I wasn't real hip on the China stuff, but I understood that's where the whole world was sort of headed right now, and I wanted some input from him. The people to the left of him are with a company called Liron out of Houston. They're one of our closest providers in this area that distribute lighting. And, I had asked them to come up, if y'all would introduce yourself whenever you speak, and speak in the microphone. Just give us an idea of what you've got.
Aim the microphone down a little bit lower. See if you can hear.
Mayor, City Council, thank you for letting us come. My name's Steve Wilson and I work for Futterman Shark and Associates, PSA Lighting. We're a lighting agent for about 50. We're a lighting agent for about 50 different factories. Cooper Lighting is one of my factories. Liron is, I have several site lighting companies and residential full spectrum. We do applications, work with architects, engineers, and doing designs and to qualified foot candle levels. I was, like David mentioned, I came and got some pole heights and was working with a local contractor to come up with a bid for him, which I take my pricing and go through distribution, which is also through local Coborn's here, I believe is where he was priced. But so we talked about I have multiple Cobra, and I'm gonna call it fixture and Cobra, because that's what we refer to it as. We have multiple lines, and, I've been working for this company for 22 years. I don't like problems, so I try to lean towards manufacturers that don't give me problems, which in turn does not give the customer problems. Cooper is a top line of mine, and we've had good success with them. I've had problems with them. Lyron is a very good supplier of ours. I'm not gonna say we don't have problems with all of them, but as far as response and factory support, Lyron I would put right at the top of the 50 factories that I represent. Saying all that to get down to, we've got a sample fixture. I'm prepared to do a light level with my meter, I have a calibrated meter. That we can compare it against the other fixtures that you have. Whatever you need us to do for us to be an approved manufacturer, we're here to do. And if we're prepared to answer questions about where these fixtures come from, are they Chinese, and everything to do about that. How that compares with Cooper, and they're Buy American. We can explain all of those, any questions you may have.
Do y'all have some lighting similar to what the sample is in street application or street light application somewhere in this area or in Texas?
I would need to get that, I'm sorry. I would need to go ahead and get that information from my engineering department. I can't answer it.
So y'all sell them in Houston?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All over.
And y'all sell street lights, and I don't know the model of the one that y'all sent, I'm not sure what it's called. That fixture is what I was really pertaining to.
Okay.
I didn't want a diversion to ask the engineer, I wanted to know if y'all had some other food.
Installed in Houston, yes, we do.
Okay, so y'all got some in y'all's hometown?
Yes, sir.
That y'all installed in the past? The other fixture that was presented to us, I'm not sure the model number or anything on it, I'd be lying if I told you. It is out there, Lee installed both of them so we could use them as a comparison, and I would like to walk out there in a little bit. What's this other light? Is it a different one or?
The one with the PD over here is the Cooper light,
Yeah,
and the one in the back corner is the,
Lyron. And what's this one by Denise's truck?
it's another Cooper light, it's been there for a long time.
Same size,
It was a little bit bigger, I'm
a
sure.
little bigger light.
Yeah, it's-
I don't mind walking down and looking at them just a minute if y'all take time to do it.
Sure.
I just didn't know if y'all could tell us something about your product.
Well-
It's in Houston, warehouse.
Yes, sir. And our freight comes to the Houston port. So we have that, we just wanna make sure that everybody understands that this gives us a bit of an advantage because we don't have backup, like some of the other parts. I 100% stand back behind this product. I've sold lights for years and years. And, the comparison between the fixture that you guys have looked at and ours, I've got all the information here for you guys to personally look at if you want.
Sure.
Can get you application shots, can get you any information to answer any questions that you want. And do that.
Can I make a recommendation when y'all go look at the light?
Sure.
If y'all look at light to light, they're gonna look exactly the same. What you need to look at is how it hits the ground. Does it reach the ground, does it spread out?
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think-
I know when we brought it up before, cause you had said, go by and take a look at it.
Oh, yeah, don't look into the light.
I did, so, yeah. I know you did that before, Dave, you said, take a look at that light.
Well, Denise said our Lee hung them up so we could come by and see them, and I came out here and I didn't know which one of the three was which. I looked up, they're all bright to me.
Yeah, it's still years for me to look up and
Yeah.
look directly.
It's
at
a
the
little
light.
deceiving at times, but the meter is.
So you've got a meter that'll read the
Foot
foot candles or lux or whatever we're gonna meter out of it, or both?
Foot candles, but, yes, and it's on a cord, so you just set it out there where there's no shadows, and you try to take into consideration any contributing light that's coming from somewhere
Sure.
else, that if there's two close together, it's gonna be higher levels. But
Sure.
It gives you, it's a good idea, and it really reinforces the layouts that we do, because we take that into consideration when we provide a layout they're generally accurate.
Well, I think I feel like before we really do move forward on this, I'd like to, get Lee's input and, his,
Me personally, I'm the Cooper, it's got a variable rheostat in it, we can turn it up to 130 watts or down to 50 watts on it.
Would you recommend that?
That's my recommendation, but that's not my choice.
Well,
Yeah,
like I said,
I
I've repped Cooper, and I have nothing bad to say about that, and that is a good feature that it has. But you're using a higher output driver to begin with, and you're just dimming that down, more or less. Wayne, I'm not gonna speak out of turn, I don't think we have that option. We have ways that we could.
So that option, by the way, my name's Wayne, with Lyron Lighting. That, I've been in the lighting industry for 32 years. So, this is not, anything new. So from the time of HID fluorescent to where we are now with LED or solid state type product, what you're talking about doing is taking a higher wattage driver, which we can actually do, tie it on there, it's a little dim, and you just turn the little knob to 1, 2, 3, or 4, and it takes it down to whatever. Basically what you're doing is you're dimming down the fixture. And so by doing that, it lowers the wattage, but it also lowers the output. So is that something that is needed, or is it something that is just nice? That's what you guys have to, we think of street light or outdoor lighting to be consistent throughout the space, not just, okay, well, over here, I'm gonna put, 10-foot candles, and over here, I'm gonna put 20-foot candles, because that would look kind of crazy throughout the city. Why would you have it all different? So that's where that nicety comes in, if that's what you need, unless you're actually trying to reduce consumption of electricity in a space. That's where that would actually come in. But could we probably do that? Yeah, we do it on some other fixtures. That's the reason I know that we could do it. So with that, if that is, a signage, we could actually probably get that and even have it installed into the fixture.
And how do, that product, comparing the two Cobra lights to each other, what are we looking at as far as manufacturer themselves? Do they both have warranties on them? Does the warranty cover the product and the labor, just the product? I don't know how it works.
Well, I can actually say the way that we actually do our standard warranty is a 5-year warranty on our product.
Okay.
For product. And so I want to make that very clear, it's product. If there's any extension of your warranty, we can actually work at that. I'd work with Steve on coming up with, the number of pieces. We'd find that. We could even work with whoever the installer is, or this, city here, and we could even do attic stuff based on a percentile. So you would actually have it, instead of having to do a repair on it, you take the fixture, slide the new one on, take the old one, do the repair, have it back into your attic stock. So there's a lot of ways to do it, whatever works for you guys. There's not one, it's not, we don't want to be a cookie cutter, is what I guess I'm saying.
It's a big project for us. Whenever it started, it was something we could do for our entire community, that everybody would see. We've got some areas that are unlit, we have some areas that are underlit, and it was we sort of did and I hate to use the term ballpark, but Lee sort of told me our average consumption was running around 200 watts. And if you look up some comparisons, you can run an LED at about 100 watt consumption and get similar light output. So it sort of seemed like, okay, if we're gonna replace them, make everything the same length and the same color, and use half the power, that might be something worth looking into, and that's what started this project.
That's exactly what's happening. You're finding that LED and its components now are at the top of their stage, not like it was back in 2007, 2008. There is no, I'm not seeing any great strides in how much light is gonna be coming out of an LED or the production. Where your standards still are, and I don't care who it is, because everybody pretty much buys the same driver that goes into the fixture. That's where your downturn is gonna be. And you put in internal, safety devices for surges and things like that. I mean, we live on the coast, right? I mean, we have problems, we understand that. So by putting those surge protecting devices in, it might kill that, but it won't kill the whole fixture. So by just replacing the surge protection device, you can actually just go and the light comes back on. So it's not killing it. It's almost like, I use the terminology of, you buy a flat screen TV, what's one of the first things they tell you when you go home to put it into a surge suppression device? Well, that's exactly what we built into our fixtures. So if that goes out, that's an easy replacement. Where if the whole fixture goes out, you have to replace the whole fixture.
Sure.
We've got a couple of them out in the parking lot. Can we all go out and just take a look, anybody that wants to?
Sure.
Y'all go with us?
Yeah.
I seen them already, I came up with
That one there is the one that they're talking about, and this one out here is one of the old lights. It's like 170 watts.
That one
That's the
is
Cooper light there.
Cooper.
Leron. The Cooper is that one right there.
How much wattage is the Cooper one?
What is that adjusted to, Lee?
Yeah, what we need to know is that way we'll know if they're the same wattage. We can find out from them. I don't know. I was gonna ask one of these.
Correct, I just wanted to see what that was.
Yeah, yeah.
Right now, it's pretty bright.
Yeah,
but
so you look directly into it.
I was wondering if they had to turn it
I think they do. I think it's a higher wattage.
up.
Steve.
No. Well, you would do a standard light because most of all your poles are probably going to be the same height. And so if I'm not mistaken, like one hour.
Yeah, it's set on 100 watts.
So
You said they're both be comparable, I think. We won't know. No, we want to make it even correct. I said, you can't look, I mean, if you look at any of them LED lights, they'll just blind you. You can't tell
It's the same as looking into a metal halide.
We'd always tell them, just look at where it hits the ground. Where does it do with the
Learned a
ground?
long time ago to do this. Don't look directly into it.
And that down there, the Lee room?
Right.
yeah, what you
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely.
You can write it down.
Yeah.
So there's actually
Step, yeah, 600, 1.4 out.
Illuminating Engineering Society, so they set the standard of what the light level needs to be within the space.
So to me, what
I
that
can
does is
answer
that
that
makes my eyes
for you.
there. It more
Because I got a price on this one today from the factory.
Here, I'll move everything
And
there.
it was
I don't like.
considerably higher.
This one?
I've got a cataract.
I was wondering if it just.
It looks so pretty. It's an occupational hazard of looking into the light.
Yeah,
And,
it is.
and once you do it, it's
like
just
watching
awful.
the eclipse.
Yes, it's not. You know, you think after 25 years of my doing this that I would know not to do. I still, my children do this when they walk into restaurants.
Did you write down 6 and 1.4?
Yes, sir.
What was he taking the illumination?
Shade it. So with the variable in it, we can turn it down that way.
I did.
Yep.
I know.
10.6. That's 10.6 here.
Okay.
We can't let anybody come work on our
Basic.
system. 10 or 2 doesn't know how to do this.
10.6 over the
Get
6.
electrocuted, then we're
So it's reducing twice the
2.7.
amount of light.
3.7.
2.7 here, 2.7
So this is brighter.
Check the one over here too.
7, but.
That's not one of them, David.
I'm sorry.
That's
Well,
170,
at the top.
that's
See,
170.
Here,
it seems
check.
like at the top,
Okay.
at the top it's more illuminated, then it goes just.
That's what I say, always, you just look over here's the ground, you know, 'cause
Right.
just looking at the globe, you can, when they're right at the lights, you can't tell anything about them. They just all look bright.
I'm looking at the ground. That light looks way brighter than this one.
It is at the top, but I don't think down here is it? Is it? This one's brighter, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
On the ground.
It doesn't look that way from up there, but on the ground it is.
On the ground, what's
Yeah.
the difference between this one and this one?
On the ground over there were 6-foot candles. Over here, there's 10-foot candles underneath the picture. It's because what you're seeing, it's giving you the illusion of the brightness is the glare.
Are we going up or down, which is the best? I mean,
The brighter.
The way it sprays into the ground.
Oh, the city will be
That light looks bright on the ground.
Well, you've got this other one that's a little bit closer, and it's probably capturing some of that one too. But they're using a measuring device.
7.4.
Okay, and what is
Okay, this light here.
This is a 170 watt light here.
Okay.
Some of the stuff they put up for several years.
I will. What's funny is that is the first time somebody's ever said that to me in my entire life.
Yeah.
I was about to say, that's the first time Steve, can you write that on your calendar? They said I was quiet? Yeah. You thought that's the next part of the church sales meeting. People are going to wet their pants. Yeah.
Still in order this week. That's what the thing's going on.
Okay.
Okay, we're back.
Oh, yeah. Didn't mean to insult the fixture, but it's 3.2. It's what, I mean. Okay. Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, so, we did a test of the 3 fixtures. We started with the Cooper fixture that was in the back corner. Directly under the fixture, the hottest that I could get the meter to read was 6.5 foot candles directly under the fixture. And then about to the center of the parking lot, I was reading 1.8. So that just lets us know what the throw is on that. On the Lyron fixture, which is on the far right side, it was 10.6 foot candles underneath the fixture, 2.7 in the middle of the line. And then on the old, the original fixture, I think you said maybe it was a 175?
This is 170.
Okay. It was 7.4 foot candles and 3.2 at the center of the parking lot. So, any questions?
I know, you.
the last time we had numbers on this, it was in Lux. Just East Texas math, about 10-1.
Move the decimal points over,
Two.
two, I mean, it's 100. Lux is 100 foot candle.
Mhm.
Yeah, Lux is 100 foot candle,
Okay.
so. But that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was read from a phone, was that correct?
Yeah, he had an app on his phone that he was showing it with. I don't know what kind of phone it was, it just, he took some readings for me.
I mean, you know, you can get a lot of apps for your phones, I don't know, I trust that meter, I just got it back from being calibrated, which I send it in every year, so,
You like both fixtures, both quality fixtures, right?
yeah, I mean, you know, if you were buying them by the pound, I mean, I would think the Cooper is probably, a better fixture in that regard.
Okay.
If you're, for value, I think the Lyron's a better fixture. For
What about longevity?
longevity, I mean, they're using basically the same components. All the components come from China. I mean, we just have to face, they're all the LED, the diodes, the drivers, everything comes from there. I don't know about the photocell, the brand that you're using compared to the photocell that they have. I don't know that. I don't.
What would be a warranty typical of that light from Cooper? Is it similar? I mean, everything's the same?
It's a 5-year warranty, but I believe on their part number, they have, I mean, you can basically buy up to 10 years. And the same thing with Lyron, they'll do the same thing. It's just basically insurance policy.
Do those companies, have you seen them negotiate in the past when you start talking about doing a whole town? Or they still gonna want you to pay for the difference on your warranty? They want to stand behind their product on a total replacement like this? Not sure.
No, I have not negotiated a warranty.
Okay.
Well, I guess you need to compare the prices on the fixtures. I mean, y'all gonna have to get the pricing for that. Lyron's not prepared to give pricing tonight, and I'm not, because I'm working through the contract.
I got you.
So, Mr. Mayor, I have a question. Are we just here to decide whether we want to, are we here tonight to decide whether we want to approve this project to go out for bid?
No, we've already approved it to go out for bid, we're just trying to decide on which light to use in the bid.
It says here, consider approval for the type and manufacture of LED lighting project and to approve going out for bid.
This is the same one that we declined the bid proposal on the last meeting.
Okay.
So we just wanted to make sure if we went out for bid, we were getting the light that we wanted in the bid. You wanna make a motion? Why don't you do both of them?
I mean, I make a motion on what the agenda item says. That's what we need to do, right?
Yeah, what does it say?
That's what it says, consider approval for the type and manufacture of LED lighting for the lighting project and to approve going out for bid.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's what I wanna do. I'll make that motion.
Which one are you making the motion?
I'm making the motion for what the agenda item says. It's going out for bid, so.
Which light do you
wanna go with the Cooper light, or do you wanna go with the Lyron?
I'd go with the Cooper.
Or do you wanna do both lights and see what they come back with?
Yeah, whatever it comes back with.
So you made a motion to bid both fixtures. I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I really do. I think that, listening to that David, I just think that we kinda like need to see what both of them are gonna give us.
Yeah.
You know? Give us some numbers.
All right, it is 6:50. We're gonna go to executive session. Eddie, Danny, Paul, would you join us in here?
That's what I want, I'll make sure.